So, friends, I hope we have been seen my first overview video on the amendments with respect to CA final corporate and economic laws, which I had posted yesterday. It is an overview video of the amendments which you have to cover for the November 2020 examination, CA final examination. And I told you that you have to cover, Companies Amendment Act 2017, 2019. In between, you have ordinances that is been clubbed with now with the 2019 Amendment Act, Companies Amendment Act 2019. Then I told you that we have a list of rules which you have to cover, and that was an overview video. Today, I am going to, have the second part of the video of amendments with respect to law topic with those CA final, corporate and economic laws. So, friends, today we'll be covering the first set of rules, which is very important, and I assure you that one or two questions will be mandatorily coming from this area. And this amendment rules is with respect to the AQD rules. I told you in my introduction video itself, because this is comparatively very important that you have to be very clear about that, because this is all with respect to the AQD rules, that is the company's appointment and qualification of directors rules. You know that this rule was first introduced in 2014, just after the act of was being introduced. Now we will see the amendments. In the introduction video itself, I told you that there are three amendments in the equity rules. One is in 2019, and second one is in 2020, and again the third one is in 2020. So there are three amendments. Don't forget, this rule has been amended three times for our exam point of view interpretation. One is in 2019, that is the fifth amendment rules. Then is in 2020, again 2020 there is a second amendment. So we have to cover three amendments in the company's appointment and qualification of directors rules. I hope that you have to be very clear about this framework, because unless you are very clear about the framework, it will be very difficult you to study. So shall we start now? Friends, yes, repeatedly, this is my part 2 video. If someone has not seen my part 1, please look into the part 1, then only you will understand the part 2 ipso facto. So, friends, let me see. The amendment is basically with respect to Rule 6 of the 2014 equity rules. So, it's the heart of the equity rules. And I like to make you very clear that Section 149 of the Companies Act speaks about appointment of directors, and it is a huge section because it speaks about a lot of types of directors, in which you can see Section 149 Subsection 4 deals with appointment of independent directors. And you all know that one-third of the listed company as board composition should mandatorily have the independent directors, and there are in the rules there are some other requirement also, you know that. And you will see 149.6 speaks about the qualifications, the rights, and of course the criteria of determining who can be an independent director. Here, the rule specifically introduces new things for being eligible as an independent director. So basically, point by point, I will explain. First, this amendment is to be complied within 3 months. 3 months of the implementation or notification of this rule, and this rule is notified in first December 2019. So 3 months is the time to comply with that. So that is the first point, you have to look into that. Now, what you have to comply with? The independent director, the supposed independent director who is going to be independent director, or who is already an independent director, has to apply online to the institute. The institute's name is the Institute of Corporate Affairs, that is IICA, that is the exclusive institute under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. They have to apply to include their name in the data bank. That is very important. So, friends, this is the very important amendment. Hereafter, you have to look into that, because for being an independent director, apart from the rights they have under Section 149, they have to be nominated, or they have to be empaneled in the data bank to be maintained by the Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs. And that enrollment or the empanelment or inclusion in the data bank is about three types. One is they can be enrolled for 1 year, or they can enroll for 5 years, or they can enroll for lifetime. So this is very important, that there are three types of enrollment. Either for 1 year they can enroll, or for 5 years they can enroll, or for lifetime they can enroll. Mind you, even a person who does not have DIN number can voluntarily apply for independent director, because if he is having intention to be a director of a company in future. So DIN number is not a prerequisite as far as data bank inclusion is concerned. That is point number 2. And point number 3 is renewal period is 30 days. So when 1 year is expired or 5 years is expired, obviously we have to renew, and the renewal time period is 30 days. And of course, there is a fees which they have to pay. In the case of in the lifetime fee has been paid, then there is no fee when it is been renewed. They have to give a declaration of compliance. Obviously, they have to give a declaration with respect to their independency, and of course the things which is been stated under 149. And now the another condition is, apart from being enrolling into the data bank, now they have to pass an online proficiency self-assessment test. It's basically MCQ test, online test conducted under the website of the Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs. And this test is a very important test, and they have to sit for this test within a period of 1 year. So that is the time period. Once they had been enrolled or empaneled in the data bank of the institute, they have to go for this examination. They have to pass this examination within 1 year. If they don't pass within 1 year of enrollment in the database, this examination, they will be disqualified. That means they will be removed from the data bank. So that is very important. Now there is a test for an academic test for independent directors also. So that is the point. Now the very important discussion is with respect to exemption, which is very important for exam point of view. Mind you, for it's very important because the institute will obviously touch upon this area, because the rule gives you a golden exemption. Because if any person or an individual who is already in the data bank has a 10 years of experience, mind you, 10 years of experience already as a director, functioning as a director or as a KMB in a listed company or in an unlisted public limited company having more than 10 crores paid up capital, then they need not want to sit for the online proficiency examination. That means there is an exemption. So what is an exemption? I repeat again, for being an independent director, now it is very important. They have to be enrolled in the data bank maintained by the IICA, that is Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs. Second point is, within 1 year of that data bank inclusion, they have to pass an online proficiency test, and there is an exemption for that. And if you don't pass that test within 1 year, then you will be removed from the data bank. And the next point, interesting point, is there is an exemption for that. What is the exemption? They have a hands-on experience. What is the year of experience? They have already an experience of 10 years acting as a director of a listed company or acting as a director of an unlisted public company having more than 10 crores paid up capital. That's point number one. Point number two, they are not a director, but they are a member of the KMB team. That is, they are a KMB of a listed company or an unlisted company having more than 10 crores paid up capital. Friends, this is very important area. Exemption, one practical question will be coming assuredly from this area. So what are the exemption for not passing that examination or not for that qualifying examination? So only the entry in the data bank is required. You does not want to pass that examination. So that's it. Now coming to what is the passing percentage? Yes, like in our institutes, there is also a passing criteria for 60% score. If an independent director writes an examination, passes with scoring 60% more, then he is being qualified as an independent. He will be passing this test. There is no time limit for number of attempts. N number of time he can sit for the examination, so it is no issue. They can sit multiple times. So these are the things which has been brought in 2019 amendment in AQD rules 2014. Now we will see quickly 2020 amendment rules. I told you there are three amendments. 2019 there is an amendment. 2020 there is an amendment. 2020 there is again an amendment. Very simple amendment. What is an amendment? Again, the amendment is in Rule 6 of the 2014 AQD amendment, again dealing with independent director, data bank and test papers. So friends, earlier I told in here I told you that the minimum time period of applicability of this amendment, of this data bank and this test is 3 months, right? 3 months from the commencement of the amendment. Now they had given some practical time limit more. So that was the amendment which is brought in 2020. For earlier 3 months, they had introduced now 5 months. Mind you, that is only a date that is already redundant, but you have to look into that. Now coming to 10 years experience, I told there is an exemption, 10 years experience. 10 years experience holding the post of director or KMB in two categories. There in 2019 amendment, there was two categories. One is listed company and another one is unlisted public company having more than 10 crores paid up capital. Now they had brought a new category called any body corporate listed on a recognized stock exchange has also been added. So that means the third criteria has been brought into for exemption for online proficiency test. So that's it. Earlier there were two categories. One is listed company, another one is the unlisted public limited company having more than 10 crores paid up capital. Now third one has been introduced, that is any body corporate listed on a recognized stock exchange. So any individual who has acted as a director or as a KMB of any body corporate which is a listed entity, then having 10 years experience will make them exempted from the online proficiency test. So the intention of the law is very simple. Whose people who already have a hands-on experience of 1 decade and need not want to sit for this examination and pass, and of course to qualify as an independent director. Now, friends, the second amendment. So, this is very important. The second amendment in 2020. I told you, I repeat again, three amendments: 2019 one, 2020 again one, 2020 again second one. What is the second one? The time limit has been changed. Earlier, we told 5 months. Instead of 3 months, they had brought 5 months. Now, instead of 5 months, they had increased that limit to 7 months. So, now the applicability is once this rule 6 has been notified within 7 months, they have to enroll them as an independent director in the data bank, and of course the qualification with respect to the proficiency test. So that is not that much practically important, but you may look into it because the institute may put into a tricky question about this time limit. So friends, these are the amendments which we covered today in this session, is all with respect to AQD, that is appointment and qualification of directors rules, which is very important for directors chapter, and all the amendments in this bracket is directly devoting to independent director, data bank maintained by the Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, and the online proficiency examination. From my point of view, mind you, this is going to be a very important area. What is that area? That is with respect to the exemptions will be the very important area where the institute will catch you. So friends, these are the second part of my video classes for the amendments of corporate and economic laws of your CA final paper with another topic with respect to the other rules. I will have my part 3 video. Stay tuned to that. And don't forget to ask any doubt, because there are few students already asking doubts, but at the same time, we always welcome to have any clarification with respect to the same. So friends, stay tuned for my third edition. First edition was an overview of the amendments. Second edition was the amendments with respect to directors chapter, with respect to independent directors in the AQD rules 2014, amended in 2019, amended in 2020, again amended in 2020. So 3 amendments. So have a nice day. See you with another edition. Thank you.